Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday again, and it is, bring up my headphones 1 second. Today is Monday, that's right, Monday the 18th of November. Thanks for joining me. Let me know where you're from, let me know how it's going. Wallace is here, how you doing, buddy? How are the guitars working out? Let us know in the chat. Cheers, let's have some water, hydrate, very hot here. It can be very cold here during the week. Good to stay hydrated this time of year. Keep the guitars hydrated too. Ooh. I'm gonna do a little jam to start with. I had to reset some of my settings. I tried some new gear this week that went back and for the computer, and then I noticed my last video was overly compressed, so I had to reset my settings for today quickly. That's why I'm a couple minutes late. But talk amongst yourselves. Let me know where you're watching from. Any thoughts on the gear I've been talking about lately? Any thoughts on the Hi-Fi Duet, the AG guitar, or any of the new releases that have come out the last couple of weeks? Let me know in the chat, and when I come back, I'll discuss. Just going to play something I've been working on today and see what happens. Just checking the stream quickly, make sure everything's working there. Yep, very good. Even after all these years, I still like to double check. Knock on wood. No, I'm not going to say things have been good lately because on technology, because otherwise I'll jinx it. Some technology things do go wrong at the weirdest times. Like suddenly the whole thing could just go down, right, out of nowhere. You never know with technology. You never know with anything in life, do you? Back to talking, talking. And back to main camera. There we go. All right. One day I'll set it up so when I press a foot switch, it automatically, I can set up with MIDI, so when I press a foot switch, it changes to the camera and changes to the guitar setting while I'm playing the guitar. And then I press a button to come back to this scene, and the guitar goes off and you just see me again. Let me just bring up this noise gate a bit. Okay. So let's say hi, and what do you think of all that stuff? Wallace is in Guildford, UK. Good to see you, buddy. Rex is in Phoenix, debating going to the gym or spinning on my bike trainer while listening to the show. Yeah, going on the bike is a good idea while you're listening to YouTube, isn't it? Graham's here. How you doing? Kevin's here. How you doing? Nice rain song. Yep, I can't let that go. And the thing is, this time of year, like right now, it's hot. It's going to be freezing cold outside. The rain song is just necessary. It's not like I play it all the time, but it will happily live up there. I mean, can any guitar live up there, really, in reality? Probably, because I'm humidifying the room. I mean, I don't think it'd be a problem, but I just leave it there. You're right, it looks nice. I can leave it out, and it actually sounds really good when I play it as well. So, definitely a guitar that will be staying around, because you can't buy them anymore, and that was a brand new one. Rex says, wondering if the LR bags is growing on you. You seem to be pretty fluid. I'm sure technology and sound is part of the equation, but just connecting with the guitar, its ability to influence is amazing. Yeah, but for me, I think for me, connecting with the guitar is about the sound and how it feels. So I really like this torrified guitar. I've said that from the start. This action is nice. It could still go a little bit lower, but the action on this is very good compared to the other ones that I've played. And the sound, I mean, there's just nothing more natural sounding. Like I said from the start, I mean, you heard it. It sounds amazing. Today I'm running mic about 50%, tone a little bit brighter because of the fingerstyle, and volume 100%. And then the key with all this gear is how you treat it, especially with like pickups. I've said on the previous live streams, you need to record it, you need to listen, and you need to remove or add the stuff that bothers you. So with this guitar, I'm not going to tell you exactly what I've done, because I think I've got it almost dialed in now. I'm going to save that for my review, but I've cut some frequencies that were just bugging me, and they're not just in the pickup, they're in guitars in general. I really want to speak about this in a video at some point. This is a big thing for me. Frequencies that ring out of guitars that can bug me acoustically, and then the more natural the pickup sounds, or the IR, whatever you're using, the more potential there is for those frequencies to also be carried through the system. For example, with a pickup that doesn't sound natural, like a cheap undersaddle pickup system, say, where you just get a very plasticky, two-dimensional sound, whatever the phrase is, they tend to just give you a sound. They don't tend to give you any of the reflections or sounds that are in the guitar. They just give you a sound, right? The ones that are really not that great. But the more accurate the pickup gets, the more it's going to reflect the bad things in the guitar as well. So if you're bothered by acoustic guitars, certain frequencies in guitars, they're going to come through the pickup system. I'm very much bothered by 2K. I say it all the time. I know some people that are also bothered by 2K and some people that are not. So that's, to be honest with you, that's the reason I haven't really brought it up in videos. I don't want to educate people to then start, well, that's the wrong word. I don't want to expose things to people's ears where it then bothers them and there's no solution to fix it easily. But I do want to talk about it, especially in the review for this guitar. It's very important to highlight it. But that's the key. It's all in the EQ. And don't get me wrong. I EQ everything. I EQ the Cole Clark. I EQ the Maton. I EQ this. I've EQ'd Anthems. Anthem maybe less so, but I don't think it sounds as natural as this. And at the end of the day, if you put a microphone in front of your guitar, that's the truest sound of the guitar. Listen back to that recording. If you hear things in that recording, then they're things in the guitar. I mean, ideally you'd remove them from the guitar, but that's not always possible. So anyway, that's a very deep conversation that I'll go into another time. But I do feel I've managed to mitigate the issues that I was having, and I'll just show you again. Yeah. There's some hiss there because I've got the gain cranked, so that's not normally there. So if I bypass the cue block that I've got engaged, you might hear what I'm talking about. It's interesting. I can hear it without even playing. I can hear what I'm talking about almost just from raking lightly across the strings. Look, check this out. If you've got headphones on, you'll hear it. Maybe you might hear it, you might not. I can hear it there already. So when I strum the strings, this sort of metallic clanging sound. So I've EQ'd that out. Again, I always take out 2K to varying degrees, and then now it sounds like this. So maybe it's just me, but my review is from me, and I'll be putting that in my review about the guitar. But I'll also be showing in that video how I fix it for me. I very much love the way it sounds now. So I'll just play it one more time with the settings that I've added. So glad I've got the looper working now on the live stream, but I will say it's not as easy to use as the TC looper. Either that, the problem with loopers is they're all slightly different when you use them. But maybe this one's more accurate. I need to learn to use this one better. Let's get some feedback. Yeah, I'm sorry to still be talking about the bags guitar, but I'm still working on my final videos for these things. When I say working, I mean procrastinating, because I want to say the right thing. I want to get my thoughts correct. I don't like reading things online about products that can potentially damage them that are not fully considered. I've seen that on some forums about certain products, other products, and I just don't think it's fair. You see, there's two things with YouTube you've got to be careful of. One is to be truthful and honest to the audience, because you owe them that, because no one should be misleading people. And the other thing is you should be careful about the companies as well. There's a lot of responsibility here, because I could say something and then change my mind. Well, okay, I always reserve my right to change my mind. That's what musicians do. But I think when you make that initial video, especially when a new product is launching, it's very important to put things through accurately. So that will be quite a criticism I have about the tone of the pickup. But that's why I wanted to take my time to figure out exactly what it is, so I can explain what it is and how you can potentially improve it yourself. And then maybe LR Bags will also take my feedback on board as well for future ideas, or maybe they'll just delete my phone number. I don't know, but you got to do these things the right way. You just have to. So yeah, it's definitely grown on me, Rex, as all gear does. That's the other thing with gear. I think when this came out, I said to people, or the pickup came out, I said on here, give things a chance, because I remember saying, imagine if you're coming from the world's worst pickup system to this. You might be so familiar with that original pickup system that you don't like this. You see, you have to be open to new things. Otherwise, you might as well not try them. You should just stick with what you have and save the money. Comparison to the Cole Clark. Well, this will be in the final video, Wallace. The Cole Clark still has a different feel. I don't want to give my review away for the final thing, because I don't want someone else to use my ideas. But basically, the feel is still different, although it's still very good here. It's a different feel because of the technology of the systems used. And, the Cole Clark's still great. I still use the Cole Clark now at most of my gigs because I need the satin finish. Wallace has seen me perform here. I do a lot of scratching on the guitar. That doesn't translate in this gloss finish. I'm hoping they might make one with a satin finish eventually. But when I'm at home, I'm using the Bags guitar because I think it sounds even a little bit more natural than the Cole Clark, possibly. Or at least different flavor. Benny Hill. Yeah, ask your questions. I'm here till 5 o'clock. Ask your questions and topics, and yeah, we'll see what we got here. So, also, I wanted to say, if you're not subscribed, because I'm not sure if Benny Hill is subscribed or not, so please subscribe and ring the bell, because I really want to get to 20,000 subscribers ASAP, and I'm very close. I need about 80 more. So, thanks to all the new subscribers as well. It's been so many extra views and new subscribers lately. I really appreciate it. And I'd love to keep growing this community even more so. Right. And thank you, Thomas, for the compliment. So, I've recently purchased the Bose S1 Pro Plus. And when I turned it off 3 times and on once, I heard a slight pop. Oh, you think you mentioned this on the comment. I just wondered if you think that's normal with this new model. Most powered speakers make some pop when you turn them on. It shouldn't be loud. If you're putting your ear close to it and in a completely silent room and you're hearing like a little pop, that's just the speaker waking up. Or the amp waking up. That's normal. If you're turning it on and it's going poof, then that's a problem and you should exchange it. That's all I'm going to say. And then some speakers do it more than others. Very few of them are completely silent. I think mine, from memory, mine does a slight click. Very, very slight sound. I have tried larger speakers that have made a louder sound, but they're also larger speakers with more power, so they're going to make a louder sound, right? It's pretty normal. Without testing it right now, I can't tell you exactly, but a slight noise when you turn on a powered speaker is completely normal, for sure. So I wouldn't worry about it. But if it's anything sounds off or is loud or does it while you're playing, then that's a problem. Because it can also be caused by your power as well. I don't know where you live. I don't know how old your electronics are in the house. Another idea is to take it to someone else's house. Of course, that's battery powered, isn't it? So you could charge it up. Does it do it when you turn it on from battery power? I suspect it still will, because again, it's just powering up it's just like waking up the guts of it. So I wouldn't worry about it. But if any doubt, I don't I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. So if in any doubt and you can replace it, then I would. Yes, yeah. But if you can't, if you got it used or whatever, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Is my answer. And if anyone else has one, perhaps you can let us know in the comments here, either after the show or now, if yours makes that sound as well, because that'd be useful information. Julian, hey everyone, finally you can pre-order the AEG on Thomann. Great. Much more expensive. I hope the price will come down. Let me see how much it is. And I do, if you're going to buy one, I will throw in here, I do have affiliate links on Thomann, and I'd love to do some more work with Thomann, so please consider using my link over there if you're in Europe. I'm going to see how much it is at Thomann. I know they've been shipping a lot. I've seen a lot of stores with these in stock now. I think they shipped around 500, didn't they? And now they get another batch in. Let's see. I actually don't see it. Maybe I can't see it because I'm in America. But you're saying it's there for pre-order. I'd like to see it because then I can put the links in my videos. But I don't. I see a pink Epiphone guitar, but no LR Baggs AEG. Probably because of my location. That's a shame because I want to put the links in. Oh well. Yeah. It's good to hear they're getting around the world now. I guess they had a slight period to check them out, make sure everything was working fine. Rosanna, how you doing? You're in Antigua. Nice. Yeah, thanks for watching as always. Thanks for moderating, and most importantly, have a great vacation. Andrew, is it difficult to get used to a small nut width for the LR Baggs in comparison to a Martin? Do you want me to go on a rant? Because I'm going to. I'm going to be a jerk if I go on my rant now. Okay, here's the first. Okay, I'm going to do my rant. But of course, we're all different and we all like different things. But you've come to Aaron Short Music, where it's my opinion. And so I'm going to give it to you. Nut width. Okay. Here's my. I don't think we got. How many more questions we got here? Oh, we've got some more questions. Okay, well, I'm going to focus on this question for a minute because I want to talk about it. So, nut width on the guitar. All right, I'll just tell you what I think, and then you can make of it what you want. Okay. So, close up on the nut. So, in case, I mean, there's obviously people watching the channel that maybe haven't played a guitar or are now getting their first guitar. So, the nut width on the guitar is this. Okay. How wide is the nut? The nut holds the strings here at the headstock. How wide is that? Now, Martin guitar, I always use them as reference, but there we go. Martin guitar in the early days mostly had what we call a narrow nut. Now, the phrase narrow nut is dangerous because narrow nut implies that it's going to be like that, right? Like it's going to be like that. That's a narrow nut. That's not a narrow nut. A narrow nut, we're talking about hardly anything. We're talking about a very small amount. I think that phrase narrow nut is like I said, is dangerous because okay, it's narrower, but it makes you think that it's tight. It makes you think like it's going to be like a mini guitar. It's not the case at all. It's slightly smaller. Okay, so here's some things that I've discovered over time about this. I owned the Martin Authentic guitar, and that had the 1 3/4 inch nut. I've mostly played 1 3/4 inch nuts. I'm used to it, and on that guitar, it had quite a big neck. Not even a full thickness neck, like a neck that got really fat up the top and was pretty big all over. And so what I decided was that was 1 3/4 inch because at that time at Martin they did switch to 1 3/4 inches. The big neck, what I'm trying to say is the big neck with the wider nut, the 1 3/4 inch, again, I'm doing it myself now. It was too much, right? I've recently played several guitars with the full thickness neck, which is quite a large neck compared to modern necks. And it's got the narrow nut, 1 11/16. I think that's great because you have It's not just about the nut width. It's about the whole neck as a whole. The neck as a whole. So when you've got a bigger feeling neck and then a slightly smaller nut, I think that's great. But when you've got the wider nut and a very thin neck, like on the new Martin, the new SC guitars, the very thin electric necks, I think then that's too much the other way. So I really like the 1/11/16 with a slightly larger neck, or the 1 3/4 inch with a slightly smaller neck for me. But then again, we're all different, and I've got big hands, so bear that in mind as well. But what are my thoughts on it? So this neck on this guitar I really like it. I've liked it since day one. It's not a skinny neck at all. It's pretty, I'd call it a regular, they call it a slim C? I wouldn't call it slim. Again, slim implies thin to me, and this isn't a thin neck, but it's not a vintage V-neck either. So I think this works really well because you've got a little bit more shoulder, a little bit more size to the neck, but then that slightly narrower nut. So I really like that. But here's the thing: I read online a lot, people saying things like they can't play the narrow nut at all. But my question then is, well, do you play electric guitar? Because electric guitar is 1/11/16. Well, actually, they vary too. But most, like Stratocasters, are 1/11/16. And I will sit down and play my Stratocaster, and I'll sit down and play my acoustic, and I don't see any difference. But again, it's really hard to pigeonhole because it's about the thing as a whole. So if your question is how is the neck on this guitar for me, well, I really like it. Now the setup could be a little bit better, so that's going to throw me off a little bit because I'd love to get the setup improved even more to my usual high standard specifications. I'd love to have it plecked as well. Something else that Elabayas could consider doing is to pleck it. Having said that, I don't know if it actually needs that. I wouldn't encourage anyone to do that as an experiment at this point. I would just make sure the action is playing as you normally like it to. Give it a few weeks to settle in, and then have a really good setup done it. Check everything over and make sure it's as low as possible if that's what you want. I like as low as possible, but you may not. And here's the other thing. I think it depends what you play as well, because I always think with these things, there's always a plus and a minus. Can't even talk today. There's always a plus and a minus for things, right? So there might be a certain song you're playing where it is slightly narrower, and it really helps you because it's slightly narrower. And there might be a song where you play where it's slightly narrower here, and you're doing a certain shape here, and that'd be better if it's, I really think it's overrated. But that's my opinion, and I know some people won't buy a guitar with anything less than the 1 3/4 inch nut width, and that's absolutely fine. But I personally think that stuff is overrated, and I switch between them all myself. All right, so the answer to that is no. Honestly, it comes down to this: if no one had told me this wasn't a 1 3/4 inch nut width, I wouldn't have known. And you say in comparison to a Martin Dread, well, my Martin Dread has a 1/11/16 nut width, so there we go. Yeah. With some of some of these things, I say let it go. Like, just try to play something for what it is. Just try to forget the specs. I know we're here talking about specs and statistics and comparisons. I know that's what I do. But when you're auditioning a new instrument, try to let that go for a minute while you're just playing and just see how you feel. Most important thing for me is that action, that feel I get while I'm playing. Is that working for me or not? Like with this, it is working for me. So that's good. Then later on, maybe get into measuring things and deciding those things. But I think to start with, just, is it good or is it bad? There's two kinds of guitars, good and bad, right? So I would start like that, and that's certainly what I've done. And then try and figure out if you can fix those things. So if you feel the action's slightly too low, have the action raised. If you feel the action's slightly too high, have the actions lowered. If you're playing and some frequency is bothering you, then EQ that frequency out. and then go back with a fresh set. That's what I've been trying to do. Then go back with a fresh set of ears and appreciate it then for what it is at that point. Try to fix those things, and only if you can't fix those things. You know, I had a guitar with a sound that was bugging bugging me like crazy, like a weird sound, and I just had to sell it on. I couldn't get that. I couldn't fix it. I could detune it half step, but I didn't want to do that. McFarland, how you doing? Yeah, me too. I really like the look of the sides of this plywood. Thanks, Michael. I was telling Michael I played a gig this week and my Everse 8, I turned it on and all the presets had corrupted. It's not the end of the world for me because I just use them as a quick starting place. I don't have like everything dialed in specifically tweaked to the ninth degree on that thing where it really threw me. I tend to just have like rough levels and effects and things like that. But still, that was pretty frustrating. You know, the reason we use digital is to have that reliability, that repeatability. So I hope that they fix that with a firmware update. I think going forward, I won't be using the preset feature of the Everse 8. I shall just dial it in each time myself. It doesn't take me very long. Checking in first time. Oh, well, welcome to the channel. I appreciate it. 58 intermediate guitar, YouTube. Awesome. Yep, if you are not subscribed, please do. I said earlier I'm trying to get up to a milestone here. I'm going to keep talking about it till I get there, and then I'll shut up about it. There we go. Subscribe and ring the bell. I appreciate it. Sal, how you doing? Good to see you. Rex is trying to firm up the schedule for NAMM. Currently thinking Tuesday to Thursday. Maybe skipping crowds on Friday, Saturday. Well, be careful because NAMM is only 3 days, not 4 this time. So I'm going to be there the whole week, but it's going to be the actual show is going to be open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you're thinking about going. Yeah, see, Tuesday and Wednesday there'll be events, like networking events, and I always go early to those things because I can walk around and talk to people before the doors even open because I get the exhibitor pass. I find that incredibly beneficial to what I do doing this YouTube channel thing because I can actually talk to people while they're setting up. I can get some little exclusives maybe. I can see them putting new stuff out that hasn't been spoken about yet. So if you're not going to get an exhibitor badge though, I wouldn't go. Well, I may not. I may go then Thursday, Friday, Saturday if I was you, unless you're planning on going to the events that they're hosting, then it's worth going to. I like to go to everything because I want to just, you never know, that one networking thing that triggers the rest of the year can happen at the weirdest time. And so that's why I like to be around as much as I can. Could you make a demo preset with the headrush core similar to the TC Helicon Voice Live 3? I mean, if you could order the switches to act like T, how should it be? I don't know if I could do it exactly the same because of the way that I use the Voice Live 3. I have it set up in a very particular way. The core, I'd have to use a MIDI controller like the I'm using now on the floor. It's the MC6 Pro by Morningstar. If I did that, then I probably could, or at least get very close. But the Voice Live 3 still has more switches on the top of the unit, and you can passively add another 6 switches as well. With the core, I would need to have the core and a MIDI controller that's powered. So I need to plug that in. Preset wise, I could probably set it up about the same, but there's still some features in the TC Helicon that I've said in my video, there's still a few features that are not. That's why I try to focus on the things that I liked about the core. For example, the electric sounds in the core are fantastic. Some of my favorite electric sounds I've heard, and they're way better than the ones in the Voice Live 3 Extreme. So if you're playing a lot of electric guitar, there's a reason to go with the core over the Extreme. But since I'm playing acoustic guitar and don't often need that for those shows, at those shows, I'd rather have the Voice Live 3 Extreme because I can have that passive 6-button foot switch and the extra switches on the unit at only £5. So I'm still using the Voice Live 3 Extreme for that reason. But I've emailed Headrush to say that I had it on the channel and I really like some of the features in there, but can they add some of these other features? If they could just add the kind of 5 missing features for me, if they could just borrow them from the Voice i3 Extreme, then I would definitely, I'd like to switch, even though it's slightly heavier. The fact that it's got the wireless editor, the fact that it's got the better screen, the better electric sounds when I'm using my electric guitar, I would definitely, at that point, I'd consider switching. But at the moment, there's still a few things they need to add to get me there. And only time will tell if they do that. So I definitely, the way it is now, well, I could use multiple presets, of course. But it's just different because the Headrush Core has like 5-foot switches and the Voice i3 Extreme has more like 10, and that passive 6-button foot switch. So straight away you've got more foot switches. You'd have to rethink the layout you're using straight away. That's the thing. It's a rather small pop. After spending £600, I got scared. Well, if it bothers you, it'll always bother you. So my advice to you, because I can't give you a definitive answer right now. So my advice to you is to, I mean, I could do because I've got it over there, but my advice to you is to have it exchanged if it bothers you, because then you'll know for sure. Like I've done that in the past, you know, if I'm just not sure, and then I've exchanged it and it hasn't been a problem, but at least then I know that it wasn't a problem. Because I mean, I understand you spent the money, you don't want to have any sort of sounds where you're turning something on, but just know that any powered speaker, especially one that's not like a $2,000 studio monitor with top grade handmade components, is going to make a little bit of a noise. Like when I do have premium studio monitors here, and when they go to sleep, there's a slight sound when they go to sleep, and that bothers me too. But that's, you know, it's just the way it is. I'm looking at getting a K&K Trinity installed. Oh, I wouldn't do it. Sorry. I really like the K&K, and I'm still recommending it. And I may even make another video on that in the future, just to clarify how I feel about it, because I do think that's a great system for certain people. Here's the thing, right? The Trinity part sounds incredible. It's a microphone in the guitar. Anytime I've put a condenser microphone in a guitar, it sounds incredible because it's basically a microphone in front of a guitar, but it's inside, not in front of it. So it's not quite as good as a microphone externally, but it gets you 90% of the way there because it is the real deal. It's the real mic at the guitar, albeit inside the guitar. So that's wonderful. The problem is it's a microphone and it's going to feed back. So if you're planning on doing like this with headphones and live streaming, go for it. It sounds amazing. If you're thinking about using it on stage, I wouldn't even bother personally. And also the way the microphone attaches inside is a bit goofy. It doesn't look very good in there, and it falls out. Mine was falling out. So yeah, probably I know I said this is the most natural plugged in sound. The K&K Trinity is probably the absolute most natural. It's not on my radar because I don't tend to recommend it for live use, but K&K Trinity is an absolutely incredibly natural sounding system. But it's a microphone based system, and anytime it's a microphone, not a pickup, then you've got to really deal with feedback. I sat here today, so when I sit here, I have the studio monitors in front of me. They're right here in front. I cranked this thing up to 100% volume on them, which isn't, you know, it's not as loud as say I am at a gig, but it's pretty loud. They're facing the guitar, no sound hole plug, and there was no feedback. That's incredible. Now try doing that with the Trinity, but not to be mean to it. Like I said, it is what it is. It's a microphone, and a microphone. If you grab a microphone like this microphone, if I turn these speakers up, it's going to feedback. It's just the way that it is. So not to be mean to, I feel like I'm mean to K&K. I have a lot of respect for the K&K Pure Mini. If you want to get that with some IR, it's going to sound great. If you want a minimal installed pickup, that is the best way to go. The Trinity, it's the most natural hybrid system on the market, but it's just going to be a lot of work unless you know exactly what you're doing on stage. So that's all. Julian said the Bags guitar is $23.99. Wow. The thing is, that's the import, isn't it? You know, I always say that Martins are cheaper in America than England because they've got to ship them over to England. They've got to pay for that part of the process, and they've got to pay that importer, and they've got to pay that distributor. Cole Clark are way cheaper in Australia. They've got to ship them from Australia to America. They've got to pay fees and whatever. They've got to pay the American distributor to ship them to the store, and then the store's got to make money. It's just the way it is when you buy stuff from other countries, unfortunately. Benny Hill, I am subscribed. Okay, thank you. The circle in the hole, is that the pickup? No, the pickup is inside. Check out my old video. I've done so many videos on this now. That is a part of the structure. That's not removable. You get a sound hole plug to go in there. But actually, I haven't. I was playing today with that. I always use a sound hole plug, mostly to prevent bleed when I'm looping. But today I didn't use the sound hole plug. It still wasn't feeding back. The thing is, you see, that's the difference between this and the Trinity we were just talking about. With the Trinity, you've got the microphone right here in the sound hole, sitting there, looking at you. So if that's looking at the sound hole, it's right here. It's gonna feed back, right? With this, the microphone is back here. That's the genius of the LR bag stuff. They put the microphones back here under this bridge plate, and that's almost acting as a feedback buster. And then, of course, this guitar is even it's stiffer, and there's no there's less sound hole. It's almost like a feedback buster, right? So there's even less chance of that feeding back. Yes, you can make it feedback. You can make electric guitar feedback, right? But it's incredibly stable in this guitar for those reasons, and that's why these. I've been saying it for years, and now I think other people are saying it too. I've been gigging stage guitars exclusively. I haven't gigged a Martin or anything in years. Not that they're not any good, but because I just feel like, you know, the thing with me is I gig so much that I start to wear the frets out and I need fretwork straight away, and I don't want to deal with feedback and things like that. So to me, I mean, I told LR Bags, I wish this had stainless steel frets. That would have made this a complete game changer. Because I start to wear out these first few strings here, these frets here, and then I get buzzing on my guitars. That's the problem. I need stainless steel frets. And if they put stainless steel frets on the first 5 frets, it would have been amazing. Because that's the only place that I start to wear them out, you know. Yeah, so I've been saying that since the Cole Clark days. You know, a stiffer top and covered here, and the pickup that's voiced well and put in the right position. You know, why wouldn't you want that for gigging? It's just a great way to go. The only thing is, this one's a little bit heavier than the other guitars, but you know, that's still lighter than a Stratocaster. All right. Yes, I've been thinking that way about lots of things lately. It's the same thing. When they told me this guitar is 6.5 pounds, I remember I said to them, "Oh my goodness, that's heavy! Like my acoustics are 5 pounds. That's 1.5 pounds more." Yeah, but then again, if you gave me a Stratocaster that was 6.5 pounds, I would say, "Wow, that's incredible! Thank you so much. I can play this forever." But because it's an acoustic guitar, there's something in your head that goes, "Oh, that's heavy." The same thing if you play Les Pauls. If you play Les Pauls and you hand someone a Les Paul that's 9 pounds, they'll say, "Oh, that's light. Great. Thank you so much. My back will appreciate it." It's a lot of this stuff is relative, isn't it? I like the week you had Lloyd Baggs on. He seemed very nice and a good person. Yeah, he's very cool. He was so nice to me at NAMM last year. Very genuine. There we go. $500 more duty and carriage. That's it. They got a ship thing over there. Time in UK, $19.99. I'm guessing UK price would be $19.99. Well, I would if you really want one, I would consider getting one now because prices tend to go up. You know, Martin prices go up every year, don't they? Or at least every 2 years, if not every year. So, and all guitars do. Fender, Taylor, everything does. So I've got a feeling we come back here in 5 years from now, this guitar, which is currently 16, is going to be at least 2,000. I'm just going to guess. I mean, we have to base that on inflation as well, but I think the thing about this guitar is that LR Bags are getting into this new market of selling guitars, and they know that there's a lot of competition. I mean, I was looking at guitars this week that were $500, $200, and a lot of people don't care about how the guitar sounds plugged in, do they? This is for performing musicians that care about such things. So let's not kid ourselves. LR Bags know they have competition. They know they've got to make a mark on the scene. And I think they could have priced this higher, personally. I think this guitar, the quality of this guitar and the sound of it plugged in, I mean, look, it's not for everyone, it's not perfect, but I think this could have easily listed at $1,999. I'm 2,000 starting to push it a little bit, but I think this could have been $19.99. I think the fact that it's 16 is to get a foot in the door. So if you really want one, I would get one now, if I was you. And sometimes these places have open box demos, like Sweetwater had one the other day. So grab that while you can. I'd say. I think a good show sometime would be to talk about how you picked your sets and songs and what songs really work, which ones don't, how you engage your audience. Yes, I agree. I did start doing some of that stuff in some videos a few weeks ago, and I will definitely be revisiting that as well. What have I just had shipped to me? Oh, there's a new wireless system from Fender I'm going to be checking out, but I'm dubious to say the most. Because I think it's got cable tone built in. I don't like that. I like to disable the cable tone, especially with acoustic. But we'll see. I'll make a video about it. So, yes, I agree. Talking more about the playing, talking more about the song, talking more about the performance is something that I'd love to do. But the thing is, I really want to grow this channel and I really want to monetize it. And the videos about cheap electric guitars and how to make them sound good, and the videos about the modelers and how to use them, get the views. And I do, it's not that I'm doing it just for that reason. I use modelers. I'm using a Quad Cortex right now. I love the gadgets. I've always loved acoustic music and just being very honest and just playing those honest songs. And I've also always loved the technology behind stuff as well. I've rarely joined them together. Like, I don't do synthesizer music, but I love technology and I love guitar and performance. So I definitely want to do more on performance. Definitely. But that will be something that will come later. Probably start with how I use the Voice i3 Extreme, to be honest. Because I loop every song now. I just started doing a new song. I use the microphone now, because with the Voice i3 Extreme, you can loop the mic. It's not quite loud enough. I need to find a way to boost the mic level, so when I do stuff. But I've been doing more of the kind of percussive, I don't know if it'll work here. But I've been doing, let's see. So I've been setting the microphone to be the looper, and then actually, if I set my pedal up differently next time, I can loop that. That's what I'd like to loop at that kind of volume. And then on the guitar, I'm doing this. So imagine those two things are happening at the same time. And then I play over the top. So I'll do it without the clapping. Well, actually, I'll try into the guitar. I don't think it will work, though. Let's see. that sounded awful. But that's the kind of thing that I'm doing, and it really adds to the set when you do stuff like that. I don't know why I've got this MIDI pedal is set to looper mode. It's meant to be 0 latency, so it records on time, but I don't think it is. One week I'll set up the Voice I3 Extreme, which is always perfectly in time. I also wonder maybe the Voice i3 Extreme is helping me somehow, like quantizing. I don't know. Now I need to figure that out. Not that it really matters, but that's definitely some kind of things I like to do in another video. All right. It's bugging me now. I don't understand why it's so out. I need to just check this. Hang on. Why is this so out of time? That's okay. It's just it's not as easy as on the Voice i3 Extreme. All right. Part of the build, yes. Poll. Hi, Aaron. Hey, do you have any experience with the NV-Tone XT pickup system? I don't have any experience with the NV-Tone. I think I've seen it. I think it's a microphone that goes in the guitar, and the only thing I worry about with that is the same thing. Is it going to feedback too much in a live gig? Yeah. It's interesting. I went to see Martin do a talk the other day, and they were just playing the guitars into a microphone, and it sounded great, and there was no problem. For me, a pickup is about getting that volume from the pickup that you can't get from a microphone. So the idea of putting a microphone in a guitar is counterproductive because then it can feed back. LR bags do it really well because they blend it in. And it stays away from those problem frequencies. In fact, all my favorites do. Maton shelve off everything below 1 kilohertz. Cole Clark only used the mic for the highest sounds, like really high stuff. And LR bags don't do anything but below 300 either. I think when you've got the microphone in the guitar and it's handling those really low frequencies, that's when you can get into a lot of trouble. And I just don't ever want to deal with that from a microphone. What would be a simple looper pedal to start with? A Ditto or a Boss? Ditto X2 is the one to start with. In fact, what I probably should do is just plug my Ditto into the Quad Cortex, because like I said, I'm using a MIDI pedal to turn on the looper on the Quad Cortex, and it just isn't. It's just not work. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and blame the Quad Cortex, because it could just be my timing, or it could be the fact that I'm used to the TC Helicon stuff. But whenever I loop with the TC Helicon, I'm very rarely out of time. Sometimes I use the metronome as well, which really helps even more, of course. But I think the TC Helicon stuff is excellent. The Boss is good too, the RC500. But to keep things simple, get the Ditto. So next week I might just plug my Ditto in front of the Quad Cortex, just to simplify things. Because it's really important with a looper. You have to have a looper that works as you expect it to. Because when your loop isn't in time, as you heard today, it sucks. So Ditto X2, I think they're in stock now. Yeah, $179. They were out of stock for a while. I'll just show them to you. Oh. Hang on. Oh, secondary. There we go. Yeah, get one of these and then set this to stop. This switch where it says effects, put it on the lowest position so it's stop. And then literally you hit loop and it records, you hit the second button and it stops, and then you're good to go. It will change your whole life. Even what I'm using today here on the QC isn't working quite like that. It's record on the left and then play on the right. I like the way it's set up on the Ditto X2 and also the Voice Live Play Acoustic. But it's just a shame. I don't understand why it's not better on the Quad Cortex using the MIDI pedal. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking about it. Next week, I'll just use a regular loop pedal. Okay. I had a hi-fi duet installed on my own 28 Modern Deluxe and really like it. Plugged it into a Fishman Loudbox 300 Performance. Sounds like totally like acoustic guitar. Haven't tested it too much. Like, yeah, I agree. I said from the start, it's the most natural sound I've ever heard, the hi-fi duet, because it's a microphone and the body sensor pickup. But you've also got to deal with the fact it may feel different to what you're used to. And I still say there's something weird going on in the 2K range, more than usual, but that can be EQ'd out, as I've shown today. So when the hi-fi duet likes the guitar and you've got it dialed in correctly, it's the most natural sounding system, and they did a killer job with that. It's awesome. All right, and something else came into stock recently as well. Oh yeah, the Play Acoustic. I also really like Looper on the Play Acoustic and the Voice Live 3 Extreme, and the Play Acoustic just came back into stock. So if you're thinking about, and it has a similar looper too. So if you are thinking about getting that looper I just showed you, I would consider this one instead, because that looper I just showed you, the Ditto, is 1700. This is 300, and you get so much more. And look, right now they have an open box model for 270. I would get that right now if I was you. Like new condition. So someone should buy that right now. 270, and you hold down 2 of the buttons and you get a looper like the one I just showed you. But you also get all the other stuff as well. So very, very cool. It's not quite as good in that the loop time is way less, but it's like a minute, and I think that's enough. So either this or the Ditto I would get. Personally, I would get this. I personally would get the Voice Live 3 Extreme for 700. Then I would get this, and then I would get the Ditto. But if you only want a looper, if you don't need the other, if you don't sing, you don't need the other stuff, you want the longer loop time, get the Ditto. And even if you get the Ditto, you can use that as a backup in the future or at home or something. So it's worth having the Ditto for sure. It's a really cool pedal. Yeah. All right, so thanks for watching. Please subscribe, ring the bell. Check out the videos that I posted this week and recently, because I posted a few things the last couple of weeks that have been quite popular. So do check that you're subscribed and ring the bell. I'm going to see how many I'm up to now. I'm sorry to be talking about it so much, but I'm excited. 19,934. I need another 46. Is that right? No, 66. No. 66. That's right. So hopefully this time next week I can celebrate that. Thanks for moderating, Lee and Rosanna. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm going to play out a little bit just for fun and see if I can do a better loop. And I'll see you again next Monday. Take care and be well. Videos coming soon on a few things you haven't seen yet. So stay tuned and enjoy those guitars. Thank you, I agree. Now I've got these settings dialed in on the EQ. I love this thing. I think it sounds great. And then the testament is that I just can't stop playing. Keep playing it. I've been playing it all day long. But that's so important. So if you are struggling with something, as long as you've got a good basic sound, work on your EQ knowledge and abilities, because a pickup that sounds terrible is very hard to make sound good unless you're using like state-of-the-art IR technology. But a pickup has what you need is that core sound. If it's got that underlying characteristic that you like, then you can shape the rest of it using EQ. That's the key. But you can't take something that sounds like a pickup truck and make it sound like a guitar. But if you've got a guitar that has a very good tone overall, and there's just a couple of things that are bugging you, then you can fix that with the EQ, in my opinion.
Six-string today, vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars, can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Oh man, goddamn, bought another six-string today, vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. all these guitars, can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Sneaking inside, just another piece of art, a new love to find. Strings humming with a history, each one with a tale. From the first touch of the strings, my soul sets sail. I see the look in her eyes, another roll of the dice. But in those studio lights, it's worth every price. I tell her it's the last one, just another fling, but the music calls my name with every shiny string. Oh man, goddamn, bought another 6-string today. Vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars, can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Oh man, goddamn, bought another 6-string today. Goddamn, bought another 6-string today. Vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars, can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need?